This is Teacher Victor, question 10, 2007. Question 10, 2007, Part A, Roman 1. You are told to what is the difference between withering and mass wasting? What is the difference between withering and mass wasting? What is the difference between withering and mass wasting? So we say withering is the breaking down. Withering is the breaking down and decomposition of solid rocks. Is the breaking down and decomposition of solid rocks on the earth, on the earth, on the earth, on the earth through physical and chemical processes, through physical and chemical processes without movement, without movement. Withering is the breaking down and decomposition of solid rocks on the earth through physical and chemical processes without movement, without movement. Then mass wasting is the downslope movement, of the withered materials by the aid of gravity. Is the downslope movement of the withered materials by the aid of gravity, by the aid of gravity. Roman 2 of Part A, you are told apart from plants, give 3 other factors that influence the rate of withering. So factors influencing the rate of withering apart from plants. So we have, apart from plants, so we have water, we have heat or temperature, then the last one you have chemicals or dissolved substances. You have water, heat or temperature, you have chemical or dissolved substances, Part 3, Roman 3 of Part A, you are told to explain 2 ways in which plants cause withering. Explain 2 ways in which plants cause withering. So in this particular question, you're supposed to just think. So plants have got roots. Plants also decay. Then we also have plants like algae and mosses on the chain. So you must explain those. So we are going to say plant roots, e.g. trees grows into joints. Plant roots, e.g. trees grows into joints and cracks. They widen the joints and cracks as they grow. They widen the joints and cracks as they grow, causing rock blocks to disintegrate. Number 2, plants like algae, mosses retain water on rocks. Plants like algae and mosses retain water on rocks, resulting to chemical withering processes. Another one, you can say decaying plant material produce organic acids. Decaying plant materials produce organic acids that reacts with some of the rock material minerals. Decaying plant materials produce organic acids that react with some of the rock minerals, causing it to decay. Part B of question 10, Roman 1. You are told to list two types of mass wasting other than soil creep. Types of mass wasting other than soil creep. So we are going to talk about, we are going to say, so you are told to list. You have talus creep, also called scree creep. You have solifluction, then we have solifluction. We have talus creep and solifluction. Part Roman 2 of Part B, you are told to explain three factors that cause soil creep. Factors that cause soil creep. So we talk about, so we're going to say, so what are these factors? We have heating and cooling of oil. We have freezing of soil. Then you have freezing of soil. Then we have plowing downhill. Another one, we have shaking by earthquakes. Or heavy trucks. Then we have alternate drying and wetting of the soil. Then the last one, we have trampling and burrowing of the ground. Trampling and burrowing of the ground. So the last question in 2007, Part C of question 10, you are told to explain four effects of mass wasting on the environment. So effects of mass wasting on the environment. So we have, it leads to loss of fertile soil. The next one, it may block the river or stream. It can also lead to displacement of people. The next one, it may lead to formation of lakes. The next one, it may lead to destruction of infrastructure and building. Then the last one, it may lead to loss of life and property. So that is the end of KSCE Paper 1 Geography 2007.